Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Urban Homestead. Spending this nice warm January day, mid to upper 40s, by pouring some more concrete raised beds. I've got 3 4-footers and 1 3-footer poured today, so letting them cure. Also outside installing some of the ones I've poured previously. Let's go take a look. Started installing the concrete raised beds out here in the garden. Starting in the front of the garden, first thing I did was ran a string line 3 foot off the front fence, so that way we got a good walkway. And then I set the grade on the string to where the front bed is going to have to be dug in about 2 to 3 inches, and the back bed panel should set pretty close to on the ground, might have to be dug in a little bit. So that way the bed is going to be level going across this direction, but it's not going to be level running the length because there's too much fall. We'd have to really dig it down. So, but with the string line, it should be even and look good. So I got the end piece in and 2 side pieces. Using fiberglass rod from Roll King to pin them together. The rod was meant to be for electric fence post. They were 4 foot long. I cut them in half. And there you can see how that joint works. They just overlap and the pin will hold them together. So we're going to stack these 2 beds tall. So that's why the pins are a little long and sticking up. So I'm going to get back to work and I will give you an update if I think of something else interesting to say. You guys saw me checking grade. Instead of having to read a tape measure every time, took a scrap piece of lumber, drove a nail through it at the proper height. So all I have to do is put it there and see if the nail just barely touches the string. As long as it barely touches, I call it good enough. If it's off, either high or low, I'll either fill back in or dig out a little more. It's a lot easier than reading a tape measure every time. Right, got the trench all dug out so they could set level. Rolled out some filter cloth that will be our pathways between the beds. And I'm going to tuck it underneath the concrete panel to kind of help hold it in place. So, got the one panel stood up. This is a little trickier since we're kind of going backwards from the way they should be laid. That joint has to go underneath the bed panel that's making our width. So a little trickier, but still doable. Once you get it there, you can see the filter cloth's not sticking through the other side. All we gotta do is take one of our fiberglass rods, set it in. It's gonna be a little trickier since it's going into this, sorry, keep covering the lens. Going into this fabric. There we go. Got it set. So, yep, just push them in. I'm gonna leave it a little long. That way when we stack the next panel, we could drive it in and make it flush with the top. So, slide over here. We'll do the same thing with this one. On this one, the only thing we need to do is measure across to make sure we got our width correct. So I'm gonna set these two panels, then I'll come back to you when we start stacking.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing all right.
Sirens. What are you doing, sir?
In my defense, I was left unsupervised on a Saturday.
Oh, that is true. I was with your family, by the way.
Well, I was still unsupervised and it was a Saturday.
Okay, so talk me through it. Like, obviously, the people know what's going on because they've seen the first parts of this.
Yeah, I was hoping to finish this all yesterday, but I bragged about the weather being good and then it started to sleet, so.
Oh, okay.
That's what I get for bragging on the weather.
All right, so what have you done since the people have seen it?
I don't remember if they've seen me putting the last of those beds in. I don't think so.
Okay.
I've got all the first layer down that I'm going to put down for now.
Okay. And then you've obviously put all the sticks and crap that has fallen out of our trees.
Yeah, did that for two reasons. One, I wanted to get it underneath this wire.
Okay.
So we're going to put wires across at every joint to keep the beds from spreading out.
Makes sense.
And two, I kind of got tired of tripping over them. So I moved them out of the walkway.
Oh, makes sense. So these are the 6 most recent ones that you've pulled out of forms, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so they're going to go on top.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm hoping they're prettier, so they will be the top layer.
Okay, so walk me through it. Why are you putting the wires on, or have you explained that already?
I have not.
Okay.
So I'm doing that to hold the beds together, so as we fill them, they don't spread apart and bow out.
That makes sense. And then you're going to stick the other ones on top.
Yep.
Sweet. This is looking really awesome. Like, I mean, I knew it was going to, but it was one of those things where I could not visualize it. Now I can.
It's nice to see some progress.
Yeah. And obviously, I'm sure you talked about this, these beds are going to go away.
I don't know if I've talked about how far they're going to go.
So, here, well, as you do what you're doing, I will gander down this way. So, he actually has the footprint pretty much laid out. Obviously, this part of the footprint's not laid out because there's a bed in the way. Or he did, I guess, a little bit graph it. But yeah, so this is going to be this bed. We're going to put another one next to it. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Either of this or maybe our new found concrete product.
True. We are, so, a little backstory on Brandon. He's like he is because his father is like how his father is. Simple as that.
Doesn't sound very nice.
Anyway, we were talking about how we have to build these beds. And my father-in-law, Brandon's dad, was like, hey, well, we have all these old silo blocks because and they're from their farm, right?
No, I don't remember where he got them.
Okay, well, anyway. His father's a collector of items as well.
He used them on his pond, and then they kept sliding in, so he pulled them up.
Okay, there's you go. There's your answer. But anyway, we're going to use them for our garden beds. We're going to make garden beds out of them because that's less of these forms we need to make right off the bat. So yeah. And if all of a sudden our voices sound better, it's because we finally decided to buy microphones so that we can actually hear, or you guys can hear us without us having to yell. So hopefully we've tested it, but this will be the first actual video with them being used. So.
There they are. Just stack that easy.
That is, wow. So if I sound a little shocked, it's just because I was genuinely having trouble like understanding exactly how this was going to work. But this is awesome.
I can't hammer that one down because I'll have to pull that out when we tie that last panel in. So
That makes sense. So you'll pull the rod out versus pulling the thing out?
yeah, because I can't lift that panel because it's interlocked. So that's going to be a pain putting the last one in, but
that makes sense. Cool.
We will survive.
Alrighty.
There it is, out of panels.
Yeah, so that's basically all the panels that we have done as of right now. Yeah. Obviously, if you are building smaller beds, these panels like will be fabulous for that. We're using them for a bigger bed, so it's going to take a lot longer, a lot more panels to make it. But that's the cool part about this is you can make it as big or as small as you want.
And if I was doing 8-foot beds, I don't know that I'd be worried about these cross ties. Probably still put them in, they're not going to hurt anything. But since it's so long before it has something holding it together, I was worried about them bowing out.
Makes sense.
And the fiberglass rod is smaller than what I had intended on using. Basically because I couldn't find any steel electric fence posts, which are 5/16. That's a 1/4-inch fiberglass rod, I think. So it's a little narrower. So there's a little bit more slop. I could have used a smaller hole, but didn't plan on that in the beginning. So
Awesome.
otherwise they'd line up a lot better if there was less gap in there. But I don't think it looks bad having zigzagged a little bit. Nothing's perfectly smooth, so
I think they look great.
More function over form anyway, so.
So yeah, we're just gonna keep plugging away at making these guys.
Yep, so now next thing is going to be a layer of our partially composted horse manure.
I don't know if we've talked about this on YouTube. The horse manure.
Did we even talk about it on TikTok? That's just something that kind of showed up.
That is true. I don't think we did. So explain the horse manure situation.
What is that? 5 truckloads, pickup truckloads of free horse manure that I'm composting down to use as fill. I'm going to use that in the bottom of the beds because I'm not 100% sure it's going to be 100% composted. And then we'll come back with 4 to 6 inches of topsoil compost that's laying around and fresh compost I'll buy in the spring to top them off. The only bed we're not going to put very much in is the bed we're going to grow carrots, parsnips, and other root vegetables this year, just to make sure that there's no contamination.
Makes sense.
Because I was advised against doing that on the internet. So
on YouTube.
On YouTube. So I'm going to heed their advice and not plant root crops and do fresher manure.
Makes sense. And then I'm guessing all the stuff that's going to be in those beds, you're just going to knock over into these.
Well, that'll go on the top.
Yeah.
So as I fill the bottom in with that, then that'll be part of my top 4 inches, and then probably do a 2-inch layer of fresh bot compost.
Awesome.
So
Sweet. Well, we're kind of at a stopping point again, but we will get you guys another video when we are ready to finish out this bed.
Yep, the only thing I might do today is move some of that horse manure, compost, whatever we want to call it, into here, but need some more bed panels to really fill it up. So
yeah, if we had one more on this side, you could probably fill this end up.
But yeah, which with the casting that's going on now, that could get me to here. Or we could save those castings for your herb garden up by the patio.
Yep, because we're gonna. So the plan is we're gonna have this bed. How long is this?
I don't remember. 8 4-foot panels, so that's 36.
32.
32.
32 feet. So we'll have basically 2 of those, give or take, if you decide to, however that happens. Then we're going to put my herb beds up there by the house. And that you're actually, we're going to be making them 3 foot wide.
Yeah,
so
instead of 4 foot.
You built a new form, a 3 foot form.
You guys saw that at the beginning of the video.
Perfect. Awesome. See, there you go. I haven't obviously started editing this, so I don't even know what else we recorded. So it's going to be a surprise to me too. But yeah, so that's going to be up front.
And we're hoping to do 2 concrete beds over there yet before spring.
So yeah, we've got
possibly a third narrower one.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so blackberries were moved, and that expanded this. So this is all going to be garden now, which is fabulous. The back part is actually not going to be raised beds. We are going to do in-ground planting, which is going to be this year corn and kidney beans. Correct?
Yep. Possibly some potatoes.
Possibly some potatoes. Not this potato. Real potatoes. So yeah.
Yep. So until next time, get some more panels put together. If it's real short, might just find those updates on TikTok, or we'll see if we put a YouTube video together. All this is weather dependent, so hope to see you soon.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.